Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of October 14, 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boy, is it a very special time. And it truly is so special now. Powerful energies with us, and by far what is likely to get the attention, the glitz, the glamour, the glory has to do with Thursday's full moon in the sign of Aries. Now, Aries is the first sign of the Zodiac, and full moons tend to bring with them conclusions and culminations and a sense of admitting some truth to ourselves, even if it's hard, and very likely a truth that's been there all along, normally rooted in the truth of what we really feel. But because this full moon happens in the very first sign of the Zodiac, it does suggest that along with that sense of culmination also comes possibility, a bright beginning, and an awareness of our own power, and awareness around blessings as well. And the reason I think that blessings are going to be amplified at energy like this is the fact that we've got Jupiter doing some interesting things this week as well. It is going to be right out of the gate, either late Sunday in the Americas or Monday in the rest of the world, that we have the Sun trine Jupiter. This is a supremely harmonious alignment between these two planets, and normally astrologers like to think of the Sun meeting Jupiter as the luckiest day of the year. And like it sounds, it happens once a year. But what we have here is a pretty close second when we get the Sun trine Jupiter. And because these two are connecting in air signs, it does suggest it's synchronicity, it's our connections with other people, it's our random interactions with others that can be part of helping us to change things up. Now, whether that is change our own energy, change our awareness around opportunity and possibility in our life, but also very possible actually help us to usher in real potential, real opportunities, which can be part of the excitement of this time. There's this breakthrough energy, but it's the kind that where we feel like our faith is rewarded in the best possible sense, allowing us to lift our spirits and knowing that there's always more to look forward to. There's always more to do in this lifetime. And the reason I mention it now is because actually Jupiter is speaking to the full moon in harmony. And this in turn keeps that energy, that supremely harmonious Sun-Jupiter energy alive throughout the week. It is energy we're going to feel now. And despite what else might be happening in the sky, and particularly with this full moon, there's every reason for hope. We're able to keep perspective. Now, the full moon, speaking of what is not so easy, well, look, it is Mars that's speaking in a conversation of tension with this full moon, essentially setting up a T-square configuration, which is a larger configuration of tension between the Sun, Moon, and Mars. But it isn't just about these big planets. You know, in my own practice, I like to throw in some asteroids as well. I find them fascinating to work with, and it helps bring that much more layered and understanding to what is taking place at any given time. And I want you to consider the key asteroids involved in this larger T-square configuration. The Sun is hand in hand with Juno. Juno is a fascinating energy. She is known as the wife of Jupiter, so she has that sense of connection there, but her mythologies often denote somebody who was very critical of their self, of their environment, and wasn't necessarily always very happy, or at least had an awareness around the things that brought discontent, but also learned to find peace within them. And then look at the full moon. The full moon is close in the sky with Chiron, right? This is about vulnerability, feeling ourselves exposed and our wounds exposed as well, feeling as if there is a sense of us knowing, or maybe other people knowing way too much about us in a way that doesn't necessarily feel comfortable, but actually could help us transcend past hurts and disappointments. And what we also have here with this full moon is the asteroid Fortuna. Now, Fortuna is just as it sounds, it's good fortune. And it's also a sense of the wheel of fortune, right? The sense that anything can change and everything can change very quickly now. The energy of Aries likes to operate quickly. It is a fire sign. It is cardinal fire, which is the very beginning of the spring. And like spring, there's this sense of freshness and newness playing out now that can be very exciting for so many of us. And yet, in the midst of all this, that beautiful Jupiterian energy, speaking with that full moon that I mentioned earlier, in the midst of all this, there's that Mars. And what that suggests is that we're not likely to be lazy with this energy, right? If it's just about trines and sextiles, well, sometimes what can happen is we have so much faith, feels like things come easy, so we just kind of sit back and feel good about what shows up, and what doesn't, we're okay. But the power of the square is that we feel a sense of what we want different, and we're willing to own our power, to take effort on our own behalf, to move ourselves towards the changes we desire. And it isn't just about having what you want. It's about the person you become in the process towards attaining whatever it is you feel is your goal, or I would even say your dream, as might be the case now. It is that Jupiterian energy that invites us to dream big, to have hope. The planet of Mars, if anything, is about action. And with the square, it can be a sense of responding to what is taking place in a way that feels quick. And through moving through our feelings of frustration, we're able to then tap into that really beautiful Jupiterian vibe, which is saying that things can get better. That Fortuna vibe is saying things can change very quickly. It is by moving through feelings of frustration, through taking some action, any action, that we are then able to move towards a greater feeling of resolution. But remember how I said full moons help us to see the truth of what we really feel? Sometimes that truth might have been there all along. We just weren't ready to see it. Well, it may very well be this full moon that helps us to accept some difficult truth about something that we're actually upset about or mad about or feels unacceptable to us. And the frustration of that might be there, but within that acknowledgement is also a promise of where it is we're ready to move forward and start brand new chapters. New chapters can be scary, of course, but they can also be refreshing. They can show us something about what we're made of, and all of us are made of stars, and that's some good stuff. But there's also a sense of connection here to your own truth. What makes you feel alive? What gives you the breath of hope? That feeling of life coursing through your veins is what the Aries vibration is about. And where we trust that, we start bringing in the healing vibes of Jupiter, where everything starts to feel that much more like it's working to our advantage. Whatever disappointment might be there, there's also a sense of possibility now that is spurring us forward, inviting us to consider where it is that new beginnings are actually quite thrilling. In the midst of all this, we have Venus, and Venus is a super active principle this week. She is making all kinds of celestial connections, which tells me that as much as that full moon is an energy of self, it has to do with us as individuals. Like I said, it's the first sign of the zodiac. It's what matters to you most and first. That tends to be highlighted with this energy. But with Venus, well, that's an energy about interacting with others, with our environment, and having a sense that goes beyond just life being about you and that spark and that instant reaction. With Venus, there tends to be some sense of thought and even pacing as well. Venus right now, as we begin the week, is working extra hard. She is in a sign that is far from home. So one of her home signs is the sign of Taurus. And right now, as we begin this week, Venus is in the opposite sign. So she's working extra hard to have a sense of her most easy self. That can be hard for Venus in the sign of Scorpio. And yet we have all these karmic and cosmic energies that are saying we get to some truth about what the heart wants and why it wants it in every area of life. Now, this truth might be romantic. I do think this is a huge week where it comes to understanding what love is uniquely for you. But it can also be one of those weeks that helps us to look at what it is that we genuinely enjoy, how much love and gentleness we're giving to ourselves. And Venus can sometimes ask us to pay attention to matters of prosperity as well, and our relationship to an energy of abundance, where we may need to heal issues around that. Well, that could stir for us now with a week like this. Overall, we do have some lovely vibes, but there's also some challenging energy here that I think a lot of us are going to be feeling right out of the gate, because it is on Monday that Venus will stand across the sky from Uranus. This is a once a year event, and this is a pretty surprising energy, and the surprises can be related to just the things I mentioned, having to do with love, our desires, our pleasures, and also having to do with our understanding of prosperity and how we feel about where we are in terms of the abundance in our lives. And this moment might be jarring for some people out there. I'm so sorry to say, but it does happen. But here's the thing with Uranus, it is honest. With Uranus, truth is involved here as well. Over the course of Tuesday and Thursday, as Venus is wrapping up, reaching the end of the sign of Scorpio, we are going to get Venus speaking in supreme harmony with Neptune and then in harmony with Pluto. I love these energies, I have to say. Now, Neptune is sometimes considered or conceptualized as the higher vibration of Venus, where Venus can be love and joy in a very immediate sense. Neptune is about universal love and how compassion expresses love, how sacrifice sometimes can express love as well. These two working in supreme harmony, well, this is about feeling a sense of fantasy, a dream come true, feeling swept up in a moment and swept up in an energy that feels downright blissful. The fact that Pluto is following up with a harmonious connection brings that much more intensity to the energy of bliss at this time. Now, outside of just simply having to do with bliss intensified, there can also be a sense of fantasies being balanced with some deeper truth that we come to understand, either about ourselves or another. It is also on Thursday that Venus will then change signs, moving into the sign of Sagittarius. And this is a big change up, I will say. I mean, two energies couldn't be more different than Scorpio and Sagittarius, whereas Scorpio is very much about the nitty gritty and looking at what's actually there and being willing to go to deeper depths. It is Sagittarius that is hopeful. This is a placement for Venus where it is over the top, overabundant, right? This is the life of the party kind of energy. And yeah, a lot of us might go overboard with this placement, but it's an energy of hope. The thing is, it does need to be balanced. And if we embrace that desire for balance early on, we will do very well with it. But if not, I just want you to know, as we navigate a little bit further, just before Halloween, we will have Venus connecting with Saturn, and that is a big reality check moment that might feel difficult, but might be necessary as well. So as much as it is that we can maintain that sense of groundedness while keeping hope going, the more likely it is that when we get just a couple of weeks down the road, well, that's going to be when we're able to that much more honestly evaluate and understand from a place that doesn't feel quite so jarring as it might otherwise feel. The energy of Sagittarius can have so much faith, which is a beautiful thing. But the thing is, when we act from that place of faith, we may also want to bring some sense of balance in order to then not have to play catch up in some way once it is that we get a little bit further down the road. So I would invite you to consider where it is that certain indulgences are a good idea and where it is that they might not be a good idea. Some of us might go way over the top, but remember, as high as you can go is as low as you can go. And with Venus and Sagittarius, we are going all out. Big top, big energy here. And that low doesn't have to be so dramatic. It doesn't have to be so hard once Venus connects with Saturn. If it is that we strive to find this perfect middle place where we are enjoying our life fully, completely, but it comes from a place of indulging heart and not necessarily thinking that it has to be about anything else other than that pure joy of being. Now, finally, Mercury is an active principle this week, at least in the very beginning of the week. Mercury will connect in a conversation of tension with Pluto before changing signs and moving into the sign of Scorpio. These energies together do suggest that there's a sense of information, of news, of detective work that either in our own lives or we might be talking about as a collective that feel like it's stirring some really deep truths. We will need to be mindful of the energy right out of the gate because there's this tendency there to manipulate ourselves or perhaps even others as well. And what it is that we come across in terms of what we're talking about and the information that finds us could have us feeling not secure. There's a lack of security that feels like it stirs very deeply and just feels messy. And this could be a time when we end up having a realization or conversation that delivers with it some difficult truth that we wish was different. But on another level, what I do like about this energy is it invites us to look at our own thought patterns and how it is that we speak to ourselves and where it is perhaps we are using this very valuable tool of self-talk in a way that maybe isn't working for us. And with Mercury changing signs, moving into the sign of Scorpio, we're able to go about changing that inner dialogue, doing the diligent work that change sometimes requires. And how do you do that work? Well, it really is about paying attention. When you notice yourself thinking a certain way and you know that isn't helping you or it isn't true or it isn't supporting who you want to be or where you want to go, you're able to see it and you're able to decide that you're not going to give it any more energy. And that can be a great gift. To have that level of self-awareness feels that much more magnified at this time. And those who are willing to do that work, well, they also are able to reap the rewards as well. If it is that you know you have people in your life who have a tendency to push your buttons or just say that thing that feels either hurtful or uncomfortable, well, practicing self-care might be deciding to just step away from those interactions, at least at the very beginning of the week. But for all that, it might also be a moment of awareness as to where we might be able to speak to others in a way that is more kind or at least more sensitive. It is a moment of understanding how much we actually can control what people choose to say, how they choose to interact with us, and where it is that in the midst of all that, there's always that choice to decide how we're going to respond. Saying things because you're hurt and you just want to hurt back, well, that's not necessarily the most evolved place to come from. And that might be part of the consideration now. But there's also something here to be said about acceptance, like finally being able to understand what is being said to you, finally being able to make up your mind, even if it's hard, and even if there's been disappointment in the past, at least getting to a place of acceptance can be a turning point moment that feels positively empowering. What I love about this week for us, there's so much here. It is a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say I love the energy of Sun trine Jupiter. That is the star of the show energy now. It is a very big deal. This beautiful vibration is set to invite us to align with something that feels just downright lucky. And a lot of that luck is rooted in deciding to see things from a place of optimism and what good could be possible here. Acting from that place can only help us to reap positive results. And just when we think we've reached some sort of a pinnacle, that energy gets reawakened with the powerful full moon that I spoke of earlier. Wow, how that full moon just awakens the sky, connecting with key asteroids and connecting with Jupiter as well helps us to maximize the blessings. The square to the full moon of Mars says we're not likely to be lazy with it. Now, what I think of most when I see this full moon is that there's this perfection that's always playing out, and we don't always realize it at the time. People will behave in all kinds of ways or evoke certain feelings within us that might feel uncomfortable, that might even feel downright unfair, and that maybe make us angry. I'm sorry to say, but it is a square of Mars. That is a possibility here. But as part of the larger wisdom, that might be exactly what we need in order to tap into positive change, in order to understand what our power truly is and decide that we are going to rest in it, that we are going to magnify it to the best of our ability. And that in turn gives other people and their choices a lot less power in our lives. It is a fine balance, but it is ultimately that which invites us to own the sense of change that might be long overdue for a lot of us out there. Well, there's something downright thrilling about trusting the universe and whatever other people need to do in their unconsciousness to help us to move towards greater awareness and a greater consciousness of just how powerful we truly are. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys, and to prove it to you, here's some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares a thumbs up. All of it means so much. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. And of course, if you want to know how all this wonderful stuff this week speaks to you in your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes for as low as just $3 a month with choose your membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity, university events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Synchronicity University has some absolutely incredible programs coming up this November. And as we begin this week, you've got about 2 weeks left to choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class. An unheard of rate to learn from these astrologers. Just wow, what incredible programs we have here. I'm going to start with my own class, Life Cycles. Now, this is where we're looking at these big moments of a life, turning point moments that happen right around the same age for people as these markers, if you will. And so with Jupiter, right, the Jupiter return that happens every 12 years, well, it tends to denote a time of greater blessings and fulfillment there. But on the way there, we have key aspects that take place when Jupiter stands across the sky from your natal Jupiter or squares your natal Jupiter. We're going to be looking at all of that to help you to maximize the potential of that big Jupiter return moment that happens just a few times over the course of a lifetime. The Saturn return is famous for how it helps us welcome in a new phase of life. But along the way, we get the Saturn opposition, the Saturn square, and other aspects as well that help us to then move towards the return, allowing us to manifest something that we can feel that much more proud of. But with Saturn, yeah, things can feel challenging, and yet it's how we move through them and work through them that helps us align with manifestations that strengthen us that much more. We have the CHIRON return, of course, which is about vulnerability and being aware of our own mortality, but also those things we hope will be immortal about us. We have the Uranus return that happens right around 80-something years old. But along the way, we have these big moments like the Uranus opposition in the first part of the 40s that tends to be that midlife crisis, and other aspects along the way that help us to have breakthroughs towards authenticity and so much more. Now, Neptune and Pluto returns, we don't normally have that given our lifespan, but everybody right around the same age alive right now has been having certain key moments that have to do with Neptune squares, Pluto squares, Neptune trines, Pluto trines. So we're going to be looking at all of that as well to help you to understand these key turning point moments, big phases of life. So we're going to talk about all that and so much more in my class, Life Cycles. I'm super excited about this class. You've got a little time left to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class. To learn all this and so much more, you can visit synchronicityuniversity.com to learn more and sign up now. Links are in the description below. Synchronicity University presents Tiffany HARELIK. This is going to be an incredible class that helps you to bring forward your best psychic mystical self. Tiffany is an exceptional teacher. There's so much enthusiasm for this class. I'm so excited about that. And she does help you to understand your unique psychic powers based on your chart, but she's also about helping you in a real way to tap into and magnify and strengthen your own intuitive and psychic abilities as well. This is going to be such a rewarding class that I know so many of us are going to get so much out of. So if you want to go beyond astrology and also start tapping into the magnification, the strengthening, and the acceleration of intuition, mystic energy, psychic energy, and so much more, this is the class to take. You've got a little time left to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class to learn from Tiffany, only at synchronicityuniversity.com. I am so excited about all the enthusiasm you guys have for Tiffany's class. Well, learn more. Links are in the description below. Synchronicity University presents JANÉT Jones. I love JANÉT. She is this YouTube star that I discovered online, and she is such a brilliant astrologer, I'll tell you. And she is bringing never before advanced techniques having to do with Decans and Duads and so much more that she's going to help you to take your astrological practice to the next level. I mean, this is advanced stuff, but if you have the basics down, super easy, you'll be able to keep up with this class without a doubt. Now, JANÉT brings such a sincerity, a whole heart, so much knowledge and wisdom astrologically, and she just has this wonderful energy to her. She's built this amazing platform online of hundreds of thousands of people, might have even reached 1 million by now, but yeah, called Spiritual Gangster Certified. She shares these memes that are funny, but also really wise, and a lot more as well. So you can find her online on YouTube and other online platforms, but you can also learn from her advanced astrological techniques that I know a lot of you are excited about. Only at synchronicityuniversity.com. You've got a little time left to choose your tuition rate. Learn more. Sign up now. Links are in the description below. Synchronicity University has an absolutely incredible speaker series coming up this November, and we've got a theme. It is a haunting, mystical theme that we are going to celebrate together with each of these amazing speakers. Now, each of these speakers has been at Synchronicity University before, so I know you're absolutely going to love them. I'm going to start with my dear friend, Michael Barwick. Michael is bringing an understanding of gemstones and magic and how it is that you can magnify and fulfill what it is you're hoping to manifest using these key tools around astrological magic. Mark McGowan, how to be a medium. Now, he is a renowned medium. He's been on reality TV before as well. Mark will help you tap into the power of your most medium self, connecting to spiritual guides and ancestors, and so much more. My friend, Brazilian astrologer Natalia Maria Calmon, is going to help us to understand Pluto in new ways, especially around new mythologies like the myth of Odin. Bear River is back, and he is going to help us to learn that much more about astrological magic like he did last time. His previous class is available at Synchronicity University, and this class as well, where he helps you to take your astrological magic skills to the next level. Ursula Stockter, magic symbols in the tarot. She's the perfect person to be teaching this because she is a Jungian analyst and has delved into symbolism that much more. So she's going to help us to understand the tarot that much more deeply. So you can see here, it is an incredible speaker series coming up this November. You've got a little time left to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class, to learn from these amazing teachers, only at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. And thank you. Thank you so much for this moment with you. Thank you for your trust. I'm so grateful for it. Stay tuned for these short horoscopes for your sign and for the collective. And of course, check out the monthly horoscopes where I dive into greater detail, especially around this week's full moon and so much more. And of course, even more deep dives are available at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com over in the Superstar space. Thank you so much for your trust, and thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy. October's full moon takes place in the sign of Aries. It has that much more passion, intensity to it. And it's also about helping us to get a wake-up call that in some cases might be long overdue. The full moon is speaking in harmony with Jupiter. That makes everything feel that much bigger, but it's also a symbol of hope. But then we get Mars in square with this full moon, and that brings with it a sense of frustration, but we're willing to do the work to transcend that frustration. There might be moments that push our buttons now and stir us very deeply, but it's all part of helping us to understand where it is that we are willing to do the work that change sometimes requires, willing to get in touch with our sacred frustration, and willing to focus that energy towards either finding acceptance for the things we cannot change or owning and claiming our power and to move in the directions we desire. Now, all of us in at least one area of life are going to find that delicate balance. All of us in at least one area of life are going to be invited to own and claim our power, to understand what it is that must change right now, and to look at where we feel frustrated, but also there's every reason for hope. We can have meaningful growth. I do speak a lot about this energy in the month ahead horoscope over on my YouTube channel and at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. How this energy will speak to you as part of your unique journey depends on your sun, moon, and rising sign. Take all three into consideration and synthesize the info to find the right answers for you. Aries, identity, whom it is you know yourself to be, and your priorities. You're about to see yourself very differently. You'll feel that anger that much more passionately within, but it also provides fuel towards you finally getting in touch with your truth. It's been there all along. Now you're actually ready to do something about it. Taurus, soul, psyche, and spirit. So much is stirring within you now. It could be a time when there are karmic closures, and they might bring with them mixed feelings. It's like, you know, this is good for you, but at the same time, there might be some things there that leave you feeling angry. Don't worry about that. You will find that resolution. This is all part of helping you to move towards so much more that you have yet to do in this lifetime. Gemini, friendships, group alliances are going to be highlighted here, and passions are going to stir around a key alliance. A friend might need you at this time, or a group endeavor feels especially frustrating, and yet it helps you to get in touch with who these people really are to you and what it is you really want to do if there's opportunities for growth within these connections. Cancer, career, social standing, life purpose, visibility. It's like there's some big blessing, but at the same time, you're fighting to make it happen, or it could come with some mixed feelings at this time. Overall, this is an energy of success that you deserve. At the very least, an understanding of what it is you're here to do, the legacy you're creating becomes that much more clear. Leo, long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, legal matters. Well, it might be an opportunity now to bring difficult matters to a close. You'll have to respond very quickly, and it might feel hopeful. There's good news here, but not necessarily windfall energy here. More personally, this could be a sense of your own beliefs, political, spiritual, philosophical, coming into focus, maybe some tension from another person around that, and you get to decide what you're going to do about it and how you want to respond. Ultimately, it's your truth. You get to decide what works for you. Virgo, transformation, regeneration, truth, and dealing with financial institutions, access to benefits you might qualify for, grants, loans, bursaries. So you can see here there's hope, there's potential and possibility, but there's also a sense that some of you might feel like you're scrambling. But there's also a sense that some Virgos might feel like they're scrambling. When we have such strong financial energy, it means that the money you need is there. Sometimes you're engaging spiritual lessons, but it will come together. Libra, partnership, love comes into focus for you. This could be business partnerships, but overall for most Libras, this is about your desire for love and understanding where you are in love right now and how you feel about it. If there's no one there, well, this type of energy does suggest someone is going to be there to help you to understand these very sacred lessons. And if you have a relationship now, it takes prominence and importance in your life as part of either bringing truth to the surface that bonds you close together or making you finally admit where it is that you have doubt. Either way, you come to a clarity that helps you to make some choice. Scorpio, your daily life, clients, customers, coworkers, immediate supervisors, you're likely to be downright busy. There might be some things that you have to address that feel frustrating to you, and yet you're able to claim your power and move towards improved circumstances as a result. There's also a sense here of wanting to focus in on empowering yourself on a level of your health and feeling stronger on that level. Well, committing to the process to get you there helps you to feel stronger that much quicker. Sagittarius, romance, flirtation, and what you want in every area of life. Creative fulfillment is highlighted here. It looks like you're really fighting for something that you want, and that can help you to claim your power. You've also got that sense of possibility and luck. Other people are very much on your side and can help you towards what it is your aim is on that heart level. You are getting your flirt on, and this can be a time that feels as if it is through flirtation that there's the potential and possibility for meaningful connections with others, but you may have to transcend your own fears around claiming the type of love you want and not make it about one particular person, but keep it about you. That's where you're able to fulfill your heart's desires that much more. Capricorn, home, family of origin, your parents in particular may come into focus. Your living situation, buying, selling, moving, attracting a new roommate. This is a time when there's a lot of hope. Positive change could happen all around, especially if you have a home-based business or you work with homes. This can be a time of some good news, but you may have to respond very quickly to a circumstance that helps you to get to that place of positive empowerment now. Aquarius, siblings, cousins, neighbors come into focus. The lines of communication being open can help you to feel that much closer, especially when you're speaking words of heart. But it can also feel like there's a situation there, whether it's something you said that evokes a particular response in another person. Well, that is where the frustration might be there for you at this time. For all that, you can have a conversation, well-timed, focused, that clears the air and makes everything better. Pisces, money you earn, money you spend, self-love, self-esteem. You might have to pay attention to a financial matter now, whether you're really hoping to push through towards greater prosperity or you feel like some expense comes up that you have to meet. The money you need is there. You're engaging spiritual lessons on the way to it, maintaining a connection to self-worth. It is by claiming your personal power that you are able to heal some abundance issues that might be there on an emotional level, thereby aligning you with greater prosperity than you've known before. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.